welcome guys. Today we have a lineup of speakers who are all waiting to talk to us about poetry. I request all of you guys to turn on your video so it'll be more intimate this way. Everyone's a friend here. It's going to be a very laid back sort of event. It's not very formal. So all of you, I encourage you to turn on your video cameras. And while someone is speaking, you can turn off your mics. But once I open the stage for discussion, you can turn on your mics again and let the conversation flow. So don't be shy. We're all friends here. Before we start, Anvita, you think we can start off, or do we wait for a few moments?
Are all the participants here? I think we've lost Prerna.
Yes, the participants are here, Anvita.
I think we can start then, or do you want to wait maybe 3 minutes or something?
Okay, then we will wait till 7:10 and we'll start off. Until then, you guys come on, turn on your videos. Don't be shy. And like you can talk until then. Make friends. So yeah, this is going to be a very sort of laid back event. Like I said, nothing to be worried about. So yeah, this is also part of a fundraiser. So Ume, you're gonna have to keep posting the link to the fundraiser in the chat. So we'll be putting up the link in the chat, and please go ahead, check out the page, check us out, because we are a non-profit. We don't really make any sort of money. So the only way our work can reach the community and for us to be able to do something with the work we're doing is for us to have that reach. And the only way we can do that is if you guys can, go ahead, follow us on Instagram. We are also planning on having sort of like a mailing list, which we'll notify you about. So for now, the best way to get news about us and our events is in the Instagram. Ume, can you like leave the link in the chat as well? So check out our Instagram, check out the fundraiser. This fundraiser is for the LGBTQ plus people during the pandemic, since a lot of them, their main sources of income have been taken away. This fundraiser is aiming to, support them financially. As to why LGBTQ and mental health, the incidence of mental health illnesses is among the highest in the LGBTQ plus people. In fact, rates of suicide is the highest in the trans community. So if you guys could, even if it's a little, a small amount, even if it's like $10, something you'd like, get yourself a bar of chocolate with, you might want to donate, because, every drop adds up and it's really important that you do so. So yeah, and check out again, just shouting our page out, because we've all worked very hard for this. And Anvita, she's here, our wonderful founder. She's worked so hard for this, and the only way our work will be able to reach everyone is if you make our reach wider, and that's the only way we can do that is by growing our social media following right now before we are able to do any sort of thing. So yes, we'll start in 2 minutes. Just a reminder, just remind your friends to come join, tell them that you're performing, ask them to come join us today, and get yourself some water, some snacks, a notebook to write down things that you hear today that make you feel happy. It's always nice to have, reminders of happiness wherever you go. So yes. So everyone, you can like turn your view onto gallery. So it'll be easier to like introduce yourselves as you go and to see the person, and then you can change to speaker view when the person's talking. And for discussions, I encourage the gallery view. So, it'll be easier to simulate natural conversation as we go ahead with this. And Aishwarya, you don't have to worry about dressing up. This is just me. I just do this because it's fun. And none of you should be worried about that. I'm just extra. So that's okay. Before we proceed, I want to just put this out there that we will be recording this session and it will be put up on our YouTube page. So if anyone is not able to come join us today, if any of your friends wanted to look at us and witness the event and they were not able to make it, you can ask them to go check out the YouTube channel and then at Patronus Mental Health again. Our name is like the same in all across the platforms. And the fundraiser, as long as the page that is hosting the fundraiser is up, you can always go and donate. So do encourage your friends to go donate. Encourage your friends to come see us in future events that we do. We have a lot planned. This is just our second year of existing, but we are very happy about it. But yes. Okay, it's 7:10. I think we can start now. Good evening, guys. So my name is Prerna Subhash Chandra. I am the content head at Patronus Mental Health. Patronus Mental Health turns 1 as of this month. It's an organization that is aimed at making discourse around mental health humanized and to create a warm space to talk about mental illnesses and to bring together people and to provide support to those who need it the most. It was founded by a wonderful, wonderful person named Anvita Nair, an engineering student with a passion for mental health advocacy. Anvita, take the stage and introduce Patronus to everyone.
Thank you, Prerna. You always know how to make me emotional. Okay, so good evening, everyone. Firstly, thank you all so much for being here. I think I'm overwhelmed right now by the amount of support that we have and the number of you that are on this meet. Someone has a question already, Ashutosh. Just a minute. So as Prerna said, I am the founder of Patronus. My name is Anvita, and I started Patronus a year ago. Mostly out of desperation because I had lived experience with mental illness. And the one thing that I took out of that experience was this knowledge that I wanted to do something about it to make it easier in the smallest of ways for someone else who is going through the same thing. It was born out of a very simple idea. And again, as Prerna said, the motive right now and will always be to destigmatize and humanize mental illness. So if you look at the content on our page, we're trying to simplify and educate people on mental illness by also making it colorful and warm so that it's easier to consume the content around it. We celebrate 1 year, which is, I think, overwhelming for all of us on the team because when we started out, we didn't really know where it was going, but now we're here 1 year later, and we have so much support on the page and then right now on this call. So again, thank you all for being here. I just got vaccinated, so I'm a little under the weather. So I won't be participating too much in this session. So I'm just going to hand it over to Prerna and let her take over. She will be our moderator for today. But I'm very, very excited to see what all of you have to offer. And yeah, let's get on with the session. Prerna, over to you.
All right, guys. So as for today's event, so this is how we're going to go about it. We have a bunch of wonderful, wonderful people here today ready to share poetry that they've written or poetry that has touched them over the years. They're going to read it out to us, narrate it, or however they would like to perform this poetry to us. Once we witness the performance, I'm going to open the floor for discussion and we can go ahead and discuss the piece. I will also be bringing up games in between for us to play something centered around poetry and literature. Of course, the theme is going to be mental health related because, we work for mental health awareness. So yes, so let's start today's evening off with our first performer. We have Aishwarya Ramya Vishwamitra. Aishwarya, she is a lot of things. She's one of the most dynamic people I know. She does a whole lot of things. Her day job is as a scientist, but once the classes end for her, that's when her real job starts, and she There's so much that I've lost count along the way, but I do know that Aishwarya is also a brilliant, brilliant poet. She specializes in writing. Very nice, Aishwarya. Your room looks lovely. She's also an interior decorator. Aishwarya also, like I was saying, Aishwarya's specialty happens to be spoken word poetry and looking very nice. Aishwarya is going to take over now and entertain us for the next how much ever long she would like to take. Aishwarya, to you.
Hi, hold on 1 second. I need to get that good lighting, or I'm standing on top of the dustbin. Just don't mind me over here. Okay. Hi, everybody. So thanks, Prerna. I have known Prerna for a while, longer than I would like to, but everyone here would echo the same sentiment. But basically, yes, I am a spoken word poet. And hold on, I've pinned myself. That's just weird. Okay. So yeah, so I do spoken word poetry. I've been writing for a while now. And I'm a little worried. This is a program full of people who care about mental health, and my poems tend to be really, really sad. So I just, I hope this doesn't turn out, you know, in a weird way. But yes, I'm going to be performing. It has been about a year since I've performed, so this is also going to be me reminding myself how to do so as well. But first, of course, thank you so much for inviting me and for making me your first poet. I just wanted to get it over with because, as you can tell, I'm probably very nervous. So I am going to be performing a few original poems for you. Stop spotlighting me, Prerna. Okay, because then I keep seeing myself. I don't want to. So yeah, so everyone can just pin me to the top. But I would like to request for everyone to please use the chat box freely. It's okay if I don't look at your videos, but I would love to read your comments and to, you know, to feel like it's more of a conversation rather than a sermon or a lecture. So yeah, so I'm going to be performing a poem, of course. This poem is called Today It Isn't Gray. Thought this would be a good poem to start off with because, like everybody here, I'm sure we're all on our separate yet similar journeys towards a positive mental health. And all days don't look the same when it comes to that. And this poem was the last poem that I wrote, and it was written on 29th January 2021 during a poetry concert because I didn't have anything to perform. So I hope you like this poem. It's called Today It Isn't Gray. I'm going to be looking here because I don't memorize my poems. As Prerna can back me up, I don't remember anything. So today it isn't gray. It isn't blue, it isn't bright. The clouds are not fluffy white. But I woke up and opened my windows for the first time in a long time. And for me, that isn't all so bad. I'd all but given up on the hope that there was something worth looking for outside. And because high school had long torn away my belief that there was anything on the inside, I'd been living in a place between me and everything not me. A place between happy and sad. A place between black and white. A place that was just gray. Some days are grayer than most. My anxiety makes me want to jump out of my skin, yet my depression tries to pull me back in, and once again making me feel like a Newton's pendulum swinging between hell and a different kind of hell. This gray space where objects are just outlines and feelings are just deep, dark puddles is a confusing place to live in. I know we've all paid rent here. I know we've all come out with a few gray hairs, and I know that, like you, I'm trying to remember the way out. It's like an ever-changing labyrinth. The path back home is never Ariadne's string. Her string is two-plied, okay? It splits into two. One goes deeper and the other comes through. And instead of choosing one, I get stuck in the middle. In the gray area of the gray area. Only something poets could come up with. But today, it isn't gray. It isn't great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna kid myself that I'm back from the dead, but if it isn't great, and it also isn't gray, then I guess I'm moving up the number line. And today, that is enough for me. Thank you. Okay. Thanks. So that was the first poem. I'm just trying to figure out, okay, I'm going to just pin, I don't know, I'm confused now. I want to pin Pranav because he's forever my fan. I want to pin this new person, Adyasha. I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, but don't know your pronouns, but you also seem very, very excited. So that's exciting. But so I'm just, yeah, but that was the first poem. It was the last poem that I had written. And I just thought it captured somewhere where a lot of us happen to be. So the next poem that I'd like to perform is, I have no idea, I haven't decided yet. Hold on. Oh, God damn it, I should have prepared. I was just like, I'm gonna wing this, what can go wrong? What can go wrong is that I have too many poems. Okay. Oh, this one's a good one. Okay. So this is another poem. So I think all of us artists, creatives, whether your form is speech, whether your form is artwork, or even if it's perfectionism in your daily job, whatever it is, we all have things that we have created that we love. We all have things that we've created that we don't love so much. And there's also things that we created just for ourselves because we didn't think anyone else would love it. And this poem is something that I was not confident about because there are way too many references throughout. And as you probably realized, I like adding science, I like adding mythology, I like adding whatever makes a poem me. So I hope you understand this poem. And if you do, then I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. I just need to find the poem because I forgot what it's called. I'm so sorry. Hold on. Yes, it's called Lost. And this poem is basically for anyone else who grew up on The Lion King because it's related, very, very related. So the scene where Mufasa and Simba are sitting, no, Simba is sitting, no, someone is sitting, and it's like ancestors, and then, sorry, but it's something, okay? And then Simba's sad because his dad is dead. Spoiler alert, too late now. So this poem just has something to do with loss, essentially. So anyone who has dealt with a loss, whether it's a physical loss, then someone is just not coming back or returning from the, okay, that's getting dark. But, or if it's a loss where you kicked someone out of your life or got kicked out of someone else's life, loss is something that is difficult to deal with. So I tried to write a poem about loss and try to make it as funny as possible so that it became easier. But as everyone knows, humor at the end of the day just makes you sad, as I'm going to show you right now. It's called Lost. Which came first, being lost or having a loss? Because all things considered, when you left me, your loss did leave me feeling a little lost. The cartographer who shaped my future, molded who I was, who created my utter being, didn't even bother leaving behind a map. How the heck do you expect me to move forward when I don't even know where north is? Back in time, ships would use the stars to sail home, but when you left for the stars, I forgot my starting point. And as far as I can tell, the only way home is straight up or straight down. I don't want to think about it. And I'd rather not embark on that journey anytime soon. So please, tell me, Mufasa, what are my ancestors up to? Are they placing bets on how long it takes for me to break from losing you? Are they consulting the oracle to find out if I survive from your leaving? Or are they catching up on decades of sleep college deprived them of? I don't know. Just please, don't tell me that you, dearly departed, are sitting there with them and laughing down at me too, because the last time I felt actual happiness was, well, before you were just a body. If there is such a thing as angels, promise me you'll send one down. I'm losing my mind over here and I don't know how to calm down. I don't even know where down is, or better yet, become an angel and come check on me. You know, just so easy. Answer my eternally burning questions. What comes after life? What's the point of it all? Why did you have to die? Why did I have to live? Why do I have to live while you die? And which came first, the chicken or the egg? Thank you. Whew. Okay, yeah. So I just want to know if anyone called the ending based on the first line, which was which came first, being lost or being lost. Because I
1 minute, Aishwarya, I just want to interject and say, hey guys, so after every poem, you guys can like turn on your mics and
oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, you're being super active in the chat, which is amazing. But like, it really encourages the performer when you're being interactive with them.
That is
I just
true.
want to say, your poems make me want to cry sometimes.
Go for it.
If my video turns off, you all know what I'm doing.
No, you're not turning your video
guys,
off.
so turn on your videos, turn on your mics, and like, talk.
I like this.
Someone says this. Nandan says, there's no point in him turning on his mic because he's speechless.
Okay, man. Okay. You're just making up for everything you do in the future that pisses me off. But okay. So yeah. But yeah, of course, you can always clap, or I do not have. Okay, fine, shut up. You can always, snap or whatever you want to do. Pranav's holding his mic. Do you want to say something?
What? No, I mean, I'm just terrified that you're going to slip and fall off your trash can.
What? It's okay. I got this, man.
Hey, they say trash can, not trash cannot. Okay. You can do this.
And that's why I'm the poet out of the two of us. Thank you.
I'll stick to painting.
Stick to medicine or whatever it is you're doing. But okay. Yeah, did you want? Oh, that's all you wanted to say. Yeah, I will take care of my.
Anyone here?
That was so intense. What inspired that?
I don't know who this is.
I do not have.
Who was it?
I'm nameless.
Oh, that's Umar.
Hey.
Oh, hi. Okay.
I just wanted to know what inspired this.
This poem?
Yes.
Wait, what was the poem that I just said? Hold on, sorry, I'm lost.
Lost.
Oh, it's called Lost. Right,
Lost.
That's true. Yeah, that is correct. I wrote this. So, okay, cool. Backstory is always good. So I had a dry spell when it came to poetry and everything else, but we're not getting into that. So I was in 2017, I believe, I had been writing a bit of poetry, and I got 3 really good poems out in one night, and I didn't write for 2 years. And I think that just happens sometimes where so right now I'm in my dry spell where I wrote a lot of really good poems last summer, and I'm confident I'm not going to write for 2 years. But so this was my way of writing again after 2 years, where last year I would essentially go on people's Instagram lives and I would tell them to give me a topic and to give me a time limit, and I would write something. And both poems that I've performed so far have been because of a time limit. I've always been that person in an English exam who only writes good things in English exams and never again. So this is essentially why I have been doing. Nandan, she's not talking to you, man. I'm the cool one here. Okay, so, but it's my moment. Okay, anyway, okay, yes. So this poem was not exactly inspired by anything, but the next poem is something that I never finished, and it's about religion in a sense. So I'm kind of sure there's no hardcore up in your face, I'm going to kill you if you don't support my religious views kind of people here. And even then, I'm not giving you my address anyway, so that's okay. I'm not an atheist. I am someone I'm an agnostic for sure, but I'm also just someone who likes talking. Okay, cool. But I'm just someone who thinks religion is very, very good material. That's about it. So that's just how I work. A lot of things I see as just concepts that are good to talk about and for creativity's sake. And otherwise, I don't really care. So this poem I've only performed this once because I've always been terrified of how the crowd is going to take it. So this ought to be fun. This poem is called The Letter W Scares Me. Hold on, how do I get out of the gallery mode? Okay, cool. I am a scientist, I'm not an engineer. Sorry, okay, that was horrible. Okay. So this poem is called The Letter W Scares Me. And the reason why I wrote this poem was because we were having a class in science communication, which was part of my course. And the person was talking a lot about how religion conflicts with science. And I hate being a part of those discussions because at the end of the day, you don't have any answers. There's always someone bashing religion and there's always someone bashing science, and they just keep fighting. So I was just like, I'm gonna just get out of this class for a second, just turn off my video. I even messaged the professor. I was like, I'll be back in half an hour. I need to write a poem. So that's when this happened. The letter W scares me. All my problems with the world seems to be raised with the letter W. Why? What? Where? And who? Because let's face it, the word how is just who that's lost its way and led to an existential crisis. How are we alive? How do muscles do that? How does calcium do that? How do electrons do that? How do subatomic particles do that? And so on. But that's not the point. In the case of W, even the point isn't what it seems. It has 3 on the top and 2 on the ground, basically proving that asking questions just gives rise to more questions. And it doesn't matter if you try a 2-pronged approach or a 3-pronged approach, all your W questions are basically you repeating yourself. I wonder if my questions are going to be answered, because asking questions feels like a cruel joke. For goodness sakes, the word answer doesn't even pronounce the letter W. It's silently mocking your approach, hidden in plain sight, as if to tell you that the question is in the answer, but you're never gonna hear it. I honestly believe that the most important questions just don't have answers. Even the wisest person knows that being wise is just equivalent to being the only one with eyes in a blind crowd. Tell them that this was what the world looks like, and everyone else will never know if that person can truly see. Because in this world, it's not the most intelligent person who leads it, because otherwise it'd be me. It's the one that recognizes that everyone else is the same and takes advantage of it. Because that's who I think God is. It's the one person who recognized that everyone was mortal and decided to tell them that they were not. And thus, when you ask questions about something that might not exist, I mean, how could you find answers? And that's what scares me about questions. How will I ever know that there is an answer? And that I'm not metaphorically chasing my own tail? Because there might not be a point to my existence, but I like pretending that there might be. Funnily enough, I'm scared of ever finding an answer. Yet I want to know the answer, but only if it's the one that I want. I might as well make up my own answers, one that suits my liking, make me feel less useless. Hold up. Did I just create a religion? Does that make me a god too? Only if I can convince other people that I am one, I suppose. Would you believe me if I said that we could all be gods? But then if we were all gods, then we're back to square one, aren't we? Where we're all the same again. I told you, we're just you repeating yourself. Me figuring out this ridiculous thing we call life feels like this. I see, said the blind man to the man who couldn't hear. Thank you. Okay, yeah.
Guys, I know we have a lot of science STEM majors here. First of all, I see like 5 people with their videos and mics on. Sorry, but what? Come on, before I sneak into your rooms and turn on the videos myself. That is creepy. I won't do that. Yeah, now there are like 10, so like 5 more. Do I have to say it again? Guys, come on.
What's happening?
Oh, no, I'm just encouraging participation, I assure you.
Okay.
So yes, does anyone have anything to say to this? Anand? No? Nothing to say to God?
I do, because your brain, there are a lot of STEM majors here. Can someone explain her brain to me? How do you go from point A to point B? But both those points make sense.
I have a poem about going from point A to point B somewhere.
Of course you do. Yes,
she knows me. She knows me.
Go on.
Well, funnily enough, I was interested in neuroscience for a very long time. Then I gave up because I am the worst test subject. Okay. But no, that joke did not land. Sorry, I can't be funny all the time. Okay, but yeah, thank you for your compliment, Pranav. Who's excited Zen? I like that name. I'm gonna borrow that.
Who's excited Zen? Why are they excited? I have a feeling it's Siddhant. Can we confirm that? Ume, can we hack?
Okay. Anyway, so please tell me. Please tell me when it's the next person's turn, because I will never know. I will never shut up. So I think
we can have one more from you, Aishwarya, before we move on.
I'll end with a short one. And this is a good one to end with. I understand that there's a lot of triggering concepts to talk about. And while I do have poems that are definitely something that I would give a trigger warning to when it comes to EDs or other such body dysmorphic issues. This one is light, however light body conscious issues can be. But I think this is a good poem to speak, to finish off with, because this is one of the first poems that I ever wrote. Because as you know, as anyone knows, art usually stems from some kind of internal torture, where you're usually just suffering because, you know, life. So this poem is called Dressing Rooms. And I wrote this so many years ago. I don't even remember when, but I wrote this poem because, hold on. Sorry, I needed to sneeze and it never happened. So I wrote this poem because as a lot of my poems touch upon, albeit in a non-serious manner, high school really killed everything that was in the inside of me. So this poem was essentially brought up from the fact that nobody seems to be happy with somebody else's body, and therefore that person isn't either. This poem is called Dressing Rooms. And if anyone has ever felt this way, then it's always good to know for other people who do feel this way. So you can, if you're confident enough, or if you want to share, then you can always put some sort of emoji in the chat. I don't know. Dressing rooms. She stands in the dressing room. Mirror to her left, mirror to her right. The girl in front mirrors her actions. She despises her. Still fully clothed, she has hangers hanging from the door. The stool next to her is still empty. Discarded disguises haven't taken a back seat yet. It's all natural that's hiding. On the door, a picture of a lady luxuriously draped across the sofa, perhaps pretending to be the sofa, a wine glass balanced between two fingers. She says, "Come, pour your troubles into me, for I have none." Even the maternity section seems fake. The mannequins have been adjusted to accommodate a plaster of Paris baby. The front now has a fender, but the boot remains the same size. The wheels have not increased in girth. How can those spindly thighs support such precious cargo? The car hasn't morphed into a minivan just yet. The girl in the mirror turns her attention back to her reflection. The clothes are lifted off, piece by piece, put on the throne at her side. Her image seems to stutter. It whispers something, but the girl cannot hear. What is it you see? I despise you. The girl on the left agrees with the girl on the right. From no anger will she look like a mannequin. She has the bump without the baby. She could disguise herself as a sofa for sure, a lazy boy even, but that wine glass would never fit between her two fingers. The first hanger is brought forth. The cloth is pushed past shoulders, pulled over hips, arms grapple with the zip at the back, centimeter by centimeter, zip up, cloth stuck. Zip down, skin caught, the zip stops. And she stares back at the girl. The dress wouldn't have looked good anyway. She pulls it up past her hips. Pull, pull, the noose is untied, added to the heap on the floor. Jeans are next. She jumps in them, wriggles one leg, then the other, jumps again, zip, 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 rolls of fat, spill over the side, meat to be sacrificed for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll stop, she promises. The girl on the door eats grapes, so can I. The jeans come off. Kicked to the side, the rest of the hangers are avoided. This mirrored cage is a different version of hell. One filled with people she despises. Clones of herself. Check out, card swipes. Dress and jeans packed inside, bought because she believes it will fit her someday. She passes another mirror on the way out. It'll motivate me, she says to the girl. I'll fit into it someday. She heads up the escalator. Up, up, and up. In times of distress, the food court always finds its way to her. Thank you.
That was amazing, Aishwarya. Thank you so much for your poem. About the last one, I think a lot of women here can relate. I mean, men as well, but I can speak from personal experience and like talking to other women about it. That it's almost very, almost a universal experience at this point, no matter how on the heavier side or on the smaller side of the scale you are on. There's always this weird unattainable standard that you need to meet. Oh, you're skinny, but you're not curvy enough to be and skinny. Organs exist. I think a lot of people who push this body image forget that organs exist. I'm sure all of us have felt this way, but I wish there was an off switch for all of it. But yeah, I guess right now we can take solace in the fact that maybe changing our bodies will not bring us that eternal bliss, right? So yeah, anyone wants to add anything to that? Anvita, Sneha, Ume. Oh, we have Roma here. Hi, Roma. Roma. Chitra.
I feel like I'm in an online class now.
Yeah, I swear, guys, what is this? I'm going to cut attendance from you guys don't answer now. God, 2 marks internals. I won't give.
Wait, hold on.
We have Prerna here. Prerna?
How many Prernas?
I'm not talking to myself. I'm just making that clear. Prerna. You're muted, Prerna.
Yeah, I was just gonna unmute. Yeah, I think I agree with Prerna. That just sounds so weird. I'm never gonna get used to saying that.
Try being an Aishwarya.
Prerna is really smart, guys. Listen to Prerna, always.
Thank you. Yeah, so I mean, especially with like the reach that all of us have on social media now, and like looking at all of these girls who, I mean, either they're filtered or they've done some kind of cosmetic stuff to themselves, and we look at it and we think that that's how I'm supposed to be. Tomorrow I'm going to start dieting, tomorrow I'm going to work out, I'm going to do Chloe Ting's 2-week challenge, and I'm going to get a flat tummy. And yeah, but the jeans still don't fit, and I think that's okay. It takes time to accept the fact that that's okay, but that's just self journey. I mean, you just have to figure it out yourself to be okay with the body that you're in. And I mean, what I do is I just like cut off. I'm just like, okay, you know what, now social media is overwhelming, I'm just gonna like delete Instagram and just eat my chips. It's okay if it makes me feel good in like such these times that just stress you out so much in general. And then on top of that, you're thinking about, okay, what am I eating and what am I doing and how am I looking? It's too much. So yeah, I think that poem was very relatable to most of us, I think.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And anyway, I'm going to sign off now. Just before I do, I'm assuming that a good number of people are from the medical field. Is that the right assumption to make?
Yeah, no, we have a good mix here. We have a good mix of, people from medicine, people doing other things, engineers, we have scientists. So yeah, we have a good mix. We have a really good mix. Go on.
Okay. So the reason why I just banquet. What is a bank? Okay. So the reason why she's trying to bring W's everywhere now. Okay, sorry, that was a mistake. But yeah. So the reason why I asked was I actually read an article recently yesterday, which I think people who are aspiring to be doctors should definitely read. I put it in the link. It's basically just about how obesity is viewed by the medical field, and a lot of times it does the opposite of contributing. So definitely read that. I think that it's something everyone should read, especially those who are aspiring to be doctors. But that's the end of my set. So thank you everyone for listening to me and for believing that I'm funny for the most part of it. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the people perform as well. And yes, please do contribute. I've also put in my Instagram handle somewhere in the chat box, which is basically 2 in a billion. And I would love for you to continue on my journey through social media if you like. I put up poetry there as well. So that's it. That's me. And thank you so much to the organizers, Anvita and Prerna, for organizing this. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Aishwarya. Like Aishwarya said, people in marginalized bodies, whether it's obese people or LGBTQ plus people, the health care, Prerna has a pathology quiz. Okay. The healthcare industry has a long way to go when it comes to accepting other kinds of bodies that are not male. But yeah, it's a while to go. I mean, anyone who's read Shaw's gynecology will be able to attest to the fact that we have a very long way to go. But next we have Pranav taking the stage. Pranav is a third year medical student at KIMS Bangalore. Pranav is a wonderful writer. He also has a podcast. Pranav and I have perhaps in here, Pranav is someone I've known for the longest time. We've known each other for over a decade. And he's always been someone who's inclined towards the literary arts. He writes, he is very, very talented when it comes to linguistics and mythology, as you'll know if you check out his page, The Bookbender, as well as his podcast, The Bookbender's podcast. And he'll be taking the stage now to talk to us about poetry. Go on, Pranav.
Okay. Hi, guys. As Prerna introduced, which wasn't weird at all for me, I'm Pranav. I am a third year medical student. My podcast has been on hiatus for the past year, and I feel like it will remain so for a while because consistency has always been a problem. Oh, God, no, don't spotlight me. This is weird. Okay.
I'm just going to interrupt. Speakers who are not okay with seeing themselves while talking, if you go to the view, a small view, like the options there, you will have an option to turn off self view. So you can go ahead and do that if you're feeling conscious about yourself. But yeah, Pranav, go on.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the PSA. But yeah, I think I'm going to start off pretty much exactly where Aishwarya left with that article, which she sent to me yesterday. And I did go through it. And as you read it, it's very, very apparent that medicine seems to think that the basic cause for anything that's not an infectious disease seems to be things like weight, seems to be things like how your body looks by some weird arbitrary standard. See, it's a question my dad always asks me whenever I tell him that your blood sugar has to be below this level. Obviously, it's some weird thing that he says where it's like, what's your average from? And I think that's very important because weight, the way you look, your proportions, these are not things that you can control. And I am aware that I'm speaking from clearly I'm not someone this. I mean, I'm not a woman. I am very much on the outside compared to all of this. I haven't done anything rigorously physical. I haven't had to look at myself. Nobody's judged me based on the way I look. And I realize that that's a point of like extreme privilege. But I'm really happy Aishwarya brought that up. Now, in the past 30 seconds, you would have realized that I am a drastically different person to Aishwarya. I don't have her neurotic feel of like extensive energy that's flying everywhere. Aishwarya, you're very welcome. So I'm gonna start off with a poet that inspired me. I've been writing poetry pretty much since I was in school. I think one of our English teachers came up with this random idea to give us a word and have us write poetry. And once I came back home, I sat in front of my garden and wrote one. And surprisingly, I kind of liked the way it turned out. I've always been partial to poetry over prose because poetry has this like lyrical rhythm to it, rhymes to it, which just makes it more fun to read. But I am by no means a spoken word poet. That's all Aishwarya. I'm more of a written poet. And if it hadn't been for her, I would never have shown my face on my Instagram profile. There's a reason the picture is a typewriter. Okay, so without delaying this even further than it already has been, let me start. So this poet is Erin Hansen. I don't know if anybody has heard of them. I also don't know who they are. I found their poems once on Pinterest when I was roaming through, and the way they wrote really spoke to me because it's very, very simple. But at the same time, the words just sit. Sometimes when you're writing poetry, you can stare at the end of a sentence, even though it's complete, but it just doesn't make sense because something is missing or something is different, or the puzzle pieces don't just fit right. Her poetry or like their poetry helped me so much in figuring out that, writing things that fit perfectly are possible. I have no idea what it's called. I'm actually reading it right off of their Instagram profile. But basically, it says they witnessed her destruction and were left to wonder why. She saw nothing but darkness, though the stars shone in her eyes. But maybe they'd forgotten when they failed to see the cracks that a star's light shines the brightest when it's starting to collapse. That's just 6 lines, but at the same time, it makes so much sense because when we write, we give so much of ourselves to the rest of the world, and that's all they see. That's all they see: our heightened emotions, our passion, but they don't really see what happens after that. Because it is like Aishwarya said, art does come from a tortured soul. Not to be over dramatic, but something within us is forcing these words to come out because otherwise they wouldn't. Um, yes, drama is poetry. That's actually perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start off with one of my own. This is called Pretense, and I am reading it off of my book. So I'm going to look down. I wrote this, I'm pretty sure I wrote this in a pharmacology class because this is a pharmacology notebook. So yeah, and I'm also sure a couple of friends of mine who've come from college, by the way, thank you for coming, guys. I know I sent you the link like 10 minutes ago. Have already read this, but this is the first time I'm performing it. So like, please be nice. Thank you. Okay, so it's called Pretense, and it starts like this. What are you thinking about, my love? Her hands search my hair for the answer. Nothing murmured against her neck is my only reply. Kiss me, I whisper softly, for I do not want to think. I drown the sound of crushing reality with her scent and in her skin. As I stare at the fire in her cheeks, she smiles. What are you looking at? I shake my head and pull her close. Maybe proximity could set me alight. Her arched back is soft in my palm. Sunlight catches mirrored earrings. And they glitter, glimmer, flash, and here call my feeble lie out in Morse code. She lies now next to me. I play with her hair. We share many secrets, those locks and I. A lazy wink, she pulls me close. You drive me crazy, she confesses to my shoulder. You too, I whisper back. Playing a part should not be so easy, for she does not, does not, does not. So yes, that is that. Um, if anybody wants to ask me something about it, please do so. Please tell me what you think about it, because this is the first time I'm reading it out, and it's also very quiet, and that is scary. Thanks, Anvita. Thank you. But yeah, that is a poem about clearly it's about lying to yourself, which is something I think we've all done in some capacity or another. Which is what I just did. Okay, fine. Yes, thank you for calling my lie out. Well, not in Morse code, I suppose, but still. Okay, so if nobody else has anything to say, I will move right on to the next one. Now, here's the thing about me, right? Yeah?
No. I was just going to encourage people to talk. Guys, anyone? I would like to hear some theories about this because I have a wild theory that the two people he's talking about are like one person, but like, you know, you're talking to yourself, like you're trying to care for yourself, but you're also like lying to yourself. Like whenever you lie to someone, even though they might be like white lies, they're going to end up hurting the person because it breaches some sort of like, you know, intimate bond with that person. So that's how I see it. You know, that's just my wild theory. And my theories are always kind of out there. I see Anand making a face. Would you like to go, Anand, at this?
I thought that was precisely what he said, didn't he? That this was about lying to yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that is clearly the theme, but I didn't think about it the way Prerna did, though. This was, I mean, to me, it was very simple. It was two people, and yeah, the narrator is lying to themselves for like some reason. But yeah, I think that's about, I mean, that's an interesting take. This is like fanfic. I like it. Thank you.
No, this is not some gender-bent fan fiction of like you or none of that
I mean,
weird
see, Prerna,
stuff.
it's coming from you. Okay, so anything's possible.
But that was what I thought about it. But Aishwarya says I think too much. All of us think too much. But a mental health awareness thing. If anyone is not an overthinker here, I will change my name. The other Prerna will be very
Which
happy
one?
about it. But yes, all of them, all 5 of them.
Okay, give me 2 seconds. I'll be back.
Kritika has a lifetime membership at the Overthinking Club. Kritika, would you like to say something about it? Where are you? Kritika. The Patronus girls at least turn on your mics and your videos.
I would, but my laptop is under the bed.
Yes, hi.
Ume, you do you. Just Ume things.
Wait, I just heard something is under the bed. What is happening?
Ume has put her laptop under the bed, and I do want to talk about something that Pranav said about how art is torture. It comes from a place of pain, and nobody sees the after effects of torture. I mean, art. Sorry, Freudian slip. Anyways, I might not partake in writing. Anant would know that I've never written a good piece in my life, but even though I don't write, I think it's the same with any art form, dancers here or artists who paint. There is that moment of stillness after you're done with your your painting or your piece of writing where you're just looking at it again, and there's that really quiet moment where you've been vulnerable, with in front of your blank sheet of paper or canvas, or your audience in when you're talking about performance, and then you ask yourself, oh my God, what have I just done? What have I just brought out into this world? So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are deep, dark secrets in every poem. And at least for me, the only thing that's that's like keeping me doing this and not like turning everything off and hiding those poems underneath my bed is the fact that I delude myself into thinking that people can't possibly glean from this as much as I've put into it, because I never do that from other people's poems. So I should be safe. It's a very weird feeling. And at least for me, it's always been that whenever I have a lot happening with me that I can't really say for any reason, it always used to come out when I was writing. And like Aishwarya said, the last 2 years of high school ruined everything for me, destroyed everything that was inside. And only once I joined college, yeah, I mean, that's the hope, right? If somebody's been through the same things that I have when I'm writing, hopefully they'll resonate, and hopefully it'll make them feel less alone, right?
Yeah,
maybe
it's that innate human urge to be heard. I think that's what sets us apart from. Oh my God! Now I sound like some weird human superiority, but no. But it does sort of makes you wonder, why we have such a strong urge to be heard, to be seen, and why we just scream out into the void so much. That's getting really dark and to a weird place.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyone
No.
Let's
Move on.
or Pranav, move on. Yes.
Pranav,
Yes,
I think one of this ones that he said that we generally don't glean as much from somebody else's poem as they themselves would. I think that partly has to do with the fact that one of the main things appealing about poetry is that you can fill in meanings into somebody else's words. So more often, we are busy filling our own experiences and our meanings into somebody else's words. That this one of what they might be intending to say is not really relevant to the appeal of a poem to a person. So I think that's also part of why poetry is so. You can have something that people will connect to at the same time, not enough that they'll be able to trace that entire chain of
Yeah.
thought back to your head.
I mean,
So,
humans are, I mean, we do want to make a lot of things about us, I feel. I mean, ultimately put ourselves in places, no matter what we find. So yeah, I wrote that poem a year and a half ago, I think now. Oh my God, COVID. But yeah, a year and a half ago. The next poem that I'm going to read out, I wrote this morning because procrastination. Um, thank you. Thank you. So I think I'll just go right ahead unless anybody has anything else. No? Okay. So this is called Loneliness is Other People. When I was 14 and perhaps a little more, I walked on white sands littered with pine cones. Each time I lifted my outstretched hands, pine needles brushed, sunlight caught in bands. Though I stood in this forest by the beach, devoid of any noise but the sounding sea, alone by all counts, no company, I did not once, if ever, feel lonely. That feeling of existing yet completely unseen, of animated expressions hiding a blank, black screen, came not from quiet or solitude, but from full laughters and jam packed rooms. I guess the thing that I'm trying to put into words is that though I felt lonely for unending days, there have always been people. It happens anyways. So, yes, that is that. And
Amazing.
when thank you. When Prerna told me that the theme for this night is gonna be mental health, uh, I began to think a lot about what that means. I mean, we have things like Instagram and posts that tell us, oh, these are the signs of depression, and we as medical students, I mean, that is generally a part of what we study. But the earliest signs that something was not okay up there for me was just loneliness. It was just being alone, even though I clearly wasn't. I mean, I've never been alone in my life. There have always been people around me. There's always been family around me. But why do you still feel alone? That was a question that I began to ask myself. And that's when I realized that, oh, there are different kinds of loneliness. At least for me, that's how it worked. Everything ultimately came from loneliness. The cause of whatever wasn't quite right, whatever was different about me, was because I was lonely. Or maybe I was lonely because of what was different. It's very hard to say, but I just feel like that's something people need to know. If you're feeling lonely, then it's not as simple as, oh, I just need to hang out with my friends more, or I just need to find people more. It's also important about what kind of people you find. And is this really loneliness that comes from not being with people, or is it from not being yourself? Right? So, yes.
Aishwarya, you were going to say something?
Can you give me 5 minutes? I'm making hapla. I'm burning it.
I've learned the hard way that you don't question Aishwarya. There was proof. Anyways, I know what Pranav was talking about, feeling lonely in a room full of people. Probably why anyone who's introverted, you do feel lonely, and people ask you to go out, have fun. It's not just about being with people, Sometimes it's weird. It's that weird disconnect. I think everyone's felt this at some point in their life, for sure. But
I have actually
yeah.
something to add.
Yes,
About
Adisha.
the loneliness thing. It's just actually about making peace with ourselves and not depending on somebody else to give us that peace. I mean, like, yeah, you can be alone, but you don't have to be lonely. And of course, we all have been lonely.
Right? Yep.
Like, of course, we all have been lonely, but it's about how we come. Like, we get dependent on somebody else to take off that loneliness. But the truth is that they're gonna leave one day, no matter how hard you want them to stay and take away that loneliness whole thing. But it's just gonna be you in the end, and I think that's a little hard to come out of. I've struggled there, so yeah.
But like I would wait, fair enough. 1 second.
Yeah.
So
Aishwarya, go on. Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So while I understand what you're saying about solitude and loneliness, what I think, at least Pranav and I resonate on a very different level. So what I think his experiences taught him, and the same for me, was that while we are actually very comfortable with our own presence and in solitude, but by loneliness, it's because we don't feel like there's anyone else who understands us. It's more of something of that sort, or who you can, sit and be lonely with together, in a sense. And that is something that at least I found comfortable with when I met Prerna, but it's a different story. But essentially, while the self acceptance journey, where you're okay with being in solitude, is different, I think being lonely in a room full of people is also different when it comes to accepting something of a whole different ball game. Or because it's not acceptance of yourself, it's then everybody else's acceptance of you, which is why that journey takes way longer. Because of course, society is not something that you can change in a day, but you find a group of people who fulfill that second quota. Pranav, tell me if this is what you might have been trying to talk about.
Yeah, I do understand. Like Aishwarya said, you need to find your own weird tribe of weirdos. I'm just going to shout out the DMCRI Literature Club for that. If anyone's from the Literature Club, they know what I'm talking about. The biggest set of misfits in BMC just came together.
But no, I do agree with what Aishwarya said. Somewhere, I've also realized that I feel like I dragged this entire train on like a steep right into angsty land, and I'm really sorry for that. But that is where we have ended up, unfortunately. Yeah, it is about finding your own people, and I think that's so important. See, that's the thing, right? When Aishwarya was talking, the discussion went on to about how we have access to so many people, we have such a large outreach, which means more insecurity from so many angles, but it also means so many friends. I would never have seen that poet who inspired me to write so much had it not been for Pinterest. And I would never have known Aishwarya as well as I do now if it wasn't for Instagram. I mean, I've met so many people there. So when people argue that, social media is all bad, no, social media is literally the reason I am still sane. I think that's just another way you can look at things. Anyway, I think, okay, so my next poem is a little less lonely, I think. But I mean, you can be the judge. I also don't have a title, so I'm accepting title applications. Somebody title the poem. Thank you. I'm really bad at titles. Okay, so it starts off like this. I wish to write a poem as complex as my mind, but alas, mere words cannot display the maze that hides my life. Can lonely even begin to describe those gray and cloudy eyes whose gates remain shut for ages until friendship opened them wide? Can hate describe that feeling of friendship drawn away? Because a soul once given, shared, cannot complete itself again. Can cold describe the empty days that sun on skin can't warm? For nothing keeps life under wraps more than torn sheets and empty song. Is memory the same as absence, or can it be used to describe the echo of times the shadow smiles? I wonder, can memory be a lie? So yes, that is that.
For the reasons I'm not going to disclose, that hits home for me. I'm just going to peace out for a while. But anyone has anything to say? Atisha, Anand? No? Prerna? Kritika has been like super active in the chat, but like she does not want to talk to us in person.
Hi, sorry. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
But yes, so so that's Pranav's poem. Do you have one more, Pranav?
Yeah, okay, no, this is like an on-the-spot decision, but I feel like ending it on such deep topics is just, I mean, I feel like I just dragged down the entire mood that Aishwarya lifted up. So I'm going to end on a poem, the same topic that late night show hosts have been using for the past 4.5 years to drag their ratings up. I'm going to diss on Donald Trump, okay? That's what I'm doing. It's called Man in the Sky. So this is how it goes. An orange man up in the sky in a palatial country, my oh my, says pish posh and tish tosh, the earth won't really die. He has friends in strong places, loud voices, old faces, raised loudly in favor, wine spilled more than savored. The old choose forced blindness, revel their fake kindness, say pish posh and tish tosh, everything is in rightness. My friends love the forests, for her streams are the clearest. They tell me their noses are not clogged in the slightest, which, as someone who suffers from chronic colds, is an amazing thing. Um, a message in plain sight, not ignored in hindsight, not burnt, nor jeopardized, read in some long, cold night, says, pish posh and tish tosh, the earth mightn't die, but butchered it could be, and who did it but just he? So, yes, that is my poem. Oh, thank you. I mean, I think thank you. The accent wasn't on purpose, okay? I'm just saying that now. That is
Let's
also
hope
my
that
time.
nobody in another country half the way across the globe is listening to this, because otherwise, Pranav, you're in trouble.
And I'm willing to take that risk. Let's see.
I will be his
again,
bodyguard.
who
Thanks,
is this?
Aishwarya.
Who's? Oh, Aishwarya. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's been hit by Aishwarya, they know.
Man, she's scary, okay? She's
scary when
very
she
scary when
wants
she
to
wants to
be.
be.
I'm not scary and all, man.
Speak for
No,
yourself,
you're very
Aishwarya.
gutsy. You're cooking appada
I'd
in the
like
middle
to
of like a
add on
poetry
something.
workshop. Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, open
Yes,
fire
so
also,
Pranav,
like. But yeah, thank you so much,
Sorry, Sneha,
Pranav.
please tell me. Wait, I think Sneha was talking.
Yes.
one
Sneha?
second. I just have one thing to say. Yeah, so Pranav, I think all your poetries were like amazing. I felt like you were just like reading something from what I could relate to. That's why I was like so speechless, like when you were like just reading out your poems. And
Wait, you're on mute.
Sneha, you've muted.
Sneha, you're on mute.
yeah, I abruptly stopped. So I mean, I was done, so I abruptly stopped. So
No, thank you so much. That is what I endeavored to do with the poems that I wrote. Hopefully people will relate.
I just want to add.
Wait, who is
this is Kritika.
Oh, hi.
Hi. So I just want to add that who is LM? I don't know who this is.
Wait, what?
Who is LM?
Check the chat.
Where?
Oh, okay. Will do.
Okay.
So I just Lakshmi
That's Lakshmi
Murthy.
Murthy, ma'am. She's our biology teacher. We all
Oh, wait, she's here?
like her. Is ma'am here?
What? No.
I have questions. Is she not here? What is
I have
happening?
questions.
Sorry for the confusion, man. Sorry, Kritika, keep talking, please.
Why
I
is
say you
it
don't talk
always
when you're
you?
eating. God, yes.
So I just want to say, Pranav, like I liked that in all of your poems or in most of them, the usage of sunlight was very prominent. And I really liked that. And also how you wrote about pine cones. That was really nice. It was nice. Despite all the realness, it was wonderful to add, a nature element to it. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah,
Thank you
that's
so
all.
much.
Yes, the imagery. Yes, Sanita. Yes, he's a romantic. Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Pranav. That was. Thank you so much for performing today. I just want to take this moment again to remind you guys. This is part of a fundraiser. So if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be links in the description where you can go ahead and donate to the charity. If you're watching this on YouTube years later, hi, I'm glad you found Patronus. But I'm sorry that the fundraiser is over, but if you're watching this in the near future, link in the description. As for everyone in the chat right now, the link will be in the chat box. Do keep spamming the chat box with the link. Or else you can go to our Instagram page, that is Patronus Mental Health, and the link is in the bio there as well.
Wait, before I leave, I just want to say thank you so much, all of you, for having me. And please donate to that fundraiser. It's extremely important. As someone who has been going around and looking at how primary health centers are dealing with things right now, things there are bad, which means that things for people who have always been, segregated, put in a corner and forgotten about is a lot worse. So anything that you can spare would really help all of us. I'm also going to take this opportunity, even though I'm probably going over time, to shout out 2 pages on the theme of bringing queer media to the mainstream. There is one Instagram page called Yes We Exist India, no spaces. I'm going to type that down in the chat box after we're done. And that is a beautiful platform for everything from queer people living in spaces where it's not entirely accessible, they're not entirely safe, they require help in terms of complaining to the police, in terms of a lawyer to represent them, all the way from there to talking about what pride means and what being queer in India means, which itself is something that not many people talk about. So that is a beautiful page. And there's another one called Sweekar the Rainbow Parents, which is a page entirely dedicated to the parents of queer children, of non-cis het children, which is also, see, we are exposed to media like this, but parents and those of the previous generation are not. And so if someone comes out, or if, talk of anything that is not straight ends up in popular media, a host of questions are raised and all of us tend to shut up and just not talk about it. If anybody shows, inklings of wanting to understand what that word means, We Are the Rainbow Parents is a really nice Instagram page. I'm going to put both of those in the chat box after I'm done. Thank you so much for having me. Patronus Health and what you're doing is extremely important, and I stand by it.
Thank you so much, Pranav. Our next performer is Adyasha. When I met Adyasha, we never spoke in school, Adyasha. I remember now. But I found her page again through a mutual friend of hers, and she is extremely passionate about fashion, makeup. And you might think, there are stereotypes that as women have, especially when we are into things of vanity, that we cannot be more than skin deep. But Adyasha is here to squash that stereotype and perform to us her poetry. Take the stage, Adyasha. And thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Prerna, for having me. Okay, and poetry, I have written it for a year now, so I'm not really that great. I'm okay. And the mental health theme, I just finished writing it out like an hour before this whole program. So I hope you all like it. I'm very nervous, by the way. Okay. Okay, yeah. First, I want to give a little backstory. It's like more like an attack poem. I have to be honest. I don't agree to people who, just post about mental health in May once. And, because they want to uphold that, oh, I'm supporting mental health and, people. And so that's that. I'm stumbling, I'm sorry. But, but they don't make a conscious effort in reality, which I feel is more needed than just a single post every year in the month of May, So yeah, my poem is based on that. Also, people like, say, for example, your parent or your, 10-year-old cousin, or, they don't know what really anxiety is, but they've been feeling it. They just simply don't know. They don't have internet access to get to know about it. Okay, let me be honest over here. I didn't know I was having anxiety or panic attacks right before my exam. Until maybe I was in 11th or 12th grade. I didn't know that was anxiety because simply I just didn't know about it. And I feel like, every kid growing up needs to know that they have this issue and that it's okay to feel that feeling, inside. So my poem is based on that. I hope you all like it. Okay. Also, I this is my second spoken poetry and all of that. So, okay. So that's that. Dear internet friend, has the month of May passed by? Is that why I don't see you put up mental health banters anymore? Is this the only time of awareness which is scheduled in your calendar? Or is it the only month where we mentally ill people are allowed to speak up? My mother says, what are these mental health posts I see on my Facebook feed? I say it's an attempt to end the cycle of self-hate. After all, it's mental health posts that only circulate first day of the fifth month. So dear internet friend, is it really reaching the needy, or is it just you being sleazy? Is this a social obligation or a mere concern? Because if it is a mere concern, why don't you talk about it at every turn? Dear internet friend, how do I make you understand that the 10-year-old kid does not know the rigorous thumping inside her chest is her anxiety? The apocalypse falling on her is just a panic attack, and she needs the reassurance that it is okay. So I urge you today and tomorrow, dear internet friend, talk to your 10-year-old sibling, cousin, the next door kid. Talk to your mother, father, and your best friend. They might need help you don't know of. And not just the first day of the fifth month, by posting banters on the internet. Speak those words of comfort. Urge them to move forward. Seek them the help they deserve by making a conscious effort. Thank you. So this is one thing I wrote. I hope you all like it. And does anybody have to say anything about this?
Yeah.
This was like, yes, go on, please.
This was like absolute beauty, because this one thing which we all come across when something happens, maybe like she was pointing out, fifth month of the year, or sometimes when some big thing happens, maybe some celebrity opens up saying that I have been through that kind of phase, or I have seen things too close. Everyone speaks about it. Everyone keeps sharing this kind of stuff, that I am there if you feel ever alone, if you ever feel like being lost, I'm there for you, you can talk to me. But we all know in
that doesn't
real life
really happen. It's just like
it
this
doesn't really
one time something happens to a celebrity, and then everybody goes online and says like, I'm here if you need me, I'm here if you like, where were you the other time? What, like,
exactly.
Why now? Just because it's like a trend on social media, that really is like pisses me off. That doesn't relate to who I am
and
at
again
all.
what I feel is that you don't even have to reach out to so many people. You might be having some thousands of connections on Facebook and Instagram. You don't have to post there or shout out to all those people. You know very well you have a close group of 10 to 15 people, maybe from your school, college, cousin group, or your family, or your office space, where you clearly notice that few people aren't okay. There was this one ad campaign. If you people have gone through, I'll share the link later. Parwa hai to dobara pucho. Like, if you really care for people, if you really think that these things matter, just ask once more. Maybe they don't have that much of guts to speak out, to say that even most of those can't realize that there have been these kind of things which are troubling them. So if you really care for them, ask them. Maybe those 4-5 people, someone who you just wish good morning, good evening every day, but you don't realize that they're going through so much of pain. So
I
ask
don't
them
even
once.
feel like it's even this fact that even if you like put it on your internet story or whatever, nobody's gonna reach out to you like that. That's no, I don't know, like if I'm going through something and somebody posts on and will, I don't have that comfort with them. Why would I? But I would rather reach out to somebody right next to me, like my parent, or so I feel like that education is needed. It should start from a parent, because my mom has gone through a lot of things and she doesn't even know that she has, but she just describes it and I know it and I try to explain it to her. I just feel like that education is missing from a person to person, and we have the I'm not getting the word. Sorry. We have the
means.
Yeah, the means. Sorry, we have the means to be on the internet to find out such things and learn about them and educate ourselves. But really it's not a subject in school, it's not a subject at home. So how will a 10-year-old even know that that is the thing that 10-year-old is going through? So yeah.
Just to
Yeah,
add on,
Yeah.
just to
Yes,
add on,
Kritika.
I feel like everybody lives in their own bubble and we all have problems. Maybe we all share the same problems, but because we're so caught up in this bubble of ours and we're not trying to claw our way out and probably talk to people, we might realize that some of us might be facing the same thing. And if we have communication that's more transparent, maybe it could help us. So yeah, I just wanted to add that there might be people who are, out there who have the same problems, but either they don't have a forum or they feel so closed off and they don't get to reach out to other people. So I like that there are these pages and there's more awareness around nowadays, and that's such a good thing because now people know that they're not alone. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Hi, I have one more point. Firstly, Adyasha, for your second performance, this was absolutely brilliant. I don't think you have anything to be afraid about. But also, what you were talking about, so what Adyasha was talking about is performative activism, right? You see, right now in Pride Month, we have all these different brands
Yeah,
changing their
yes.
colors to the
Oh my God.
rainbow. May we have mental health awareness, or all brands start talking about the different things they've done for mental health, and then they keep quiet about it for the rest of the year because it only matters in May. Pride only matters in June. Mental health only matters when you lose a Sushant Singh Rajput. All those people who put up their stories about Sushant Singh Rajput, tell me if you're not okay. Where were those stories 1 month later? Did one of those people, reach out to you personally to ask you, yeah, if you're okay? No, not one person. I honestly thought there might be some sort of change in mindset after that, because some people genuinely look like they realized that this is something that needs to be carried out routinely, and yet nothing changed. In fact, if you remember, when I introduced Patronus, I said it was something I started out almost out of desperation. If I didn't feel that need to seek help and give help outside of my own circle, I probably wouldn't have started Patronus. I look at it as a boon now, but I feel like if I'd found that kind of support in the beginning, I probably wouldn't have to seek it out in the internet. And yeah, that's what I wanted to add. So thank you, Atyasha. I think this is something that a lot of us could relate to.
Actually, I want to add something. Since I do a lot of makeup and all of that stuff, and as Anvita pointed out, that only during the June month everybody's behind Pride. So these major, and I follow like a lot of men who are into makeup, and that's like a big thing, of course, in the beauty world and everything, and they do amazing things. So beauty brands, like so many beauty brands, they come up with June and they start publicizing their whole, oh, we are up for all the queer. I'm embarrassing. Sorry. But yeah, then they come up with all these, starting to change their DPs and all that. But the rest of the year, they don't give, they don't value them at all. It's just during the June month, and the same thing happens with the mental health month. It's like a repetitive cycle, and I've seen it in so many stories. Like, oh, abhi unko yaad aa gaya, but until now there is nothing. No featuring them and nothing.
The same thing happens with women's rights in March.
Oh
where's
my
that
God.
same energy with the where's that same energy when it comes to the rest of the year? We see you putting taxes on sanitary products. Where's that energy? It's only in March.
And
that's definitely there. Performative activism is definitely a huge problem. Yeah, when especially when it comes to pride related things in a country like India, where were all of these lobby groups who are so concerned about pride, about the LGBTQ plus people? Where were these lobbies when people were taking to the streets to just ask for the rights to exist without prosecution? And like I said in the beginning of today's session, the queer community and mental health awareness. They are very intimately related. That this is something we need to realize, that a lot of queer emancipation has underlying mental health advocacy sort of things that we need to be doing for that cause. If we are to give them that freedom that they need, we need to be addressing that as well. They're very intimately connected issues at the end of the day, because not very long ago, psychiatry itself was used as a weapon to harm the queer community. So it is a very intimately related issue, and hence why Patronus, we decided to donate to a queer community this time. But yeah, thank you, Atisha, so much. Do you have one more poem to be performing, Atisha?
I don't have it related to mental health, but it is. I had written this poem. The title is "A Woman's Battle." So if you guys want to hear it, I will perform it. But yes, it's not that much related to the theme. So.
Yes, Atisha, we can maybe take one from you. I was just a little concerned about time.
Then that's completely fine. I think you should just move on to the next one.
I am so sorry.
No, not at all.
But yes, next we have Anant. Anant is again someone I know in real life. Anant is a huge advocate for mental health. He is the founder of the Literature Club at Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute. He got me into reading again after a long hiatus. Other than that, Anant is a historian, a doctor, not just in training, a fully fledged formed doctor. And he also has an active interest in the field of psychiatry and the brain sciences. So apart from being that, Anant is also a travel enthusiast, a photographer, a mountaineer, and a writer. So take the stage, Anant. Yes, Anant is the GOAT, as Chitra is saying.
Thank you. You happen to forget mentioning that at the moment Anant is also unemployed, so works. But
just for a very short time, the government has plans for your employment. We'd all like to say.
Yeah. So before I get going, first thing is that I really haven't been able to come up with anything fresh for this, because I was told that I was performing, I think, 20 minutes before the program started. So I am just going to go over something that's already been published. And what my style of writing is going to be a little different from what has been presented so far. I'm a big fan of two poets, Khalil Gibran and Omar Khayyam. And a lot of what I write is influenced directly by that. So the first poem, this was, I think, written sometime last year. And this is based very extensively on Khalil Gibran's style. A major issue for me always has been translating emotions into words. So what I found very appealing about Gibran was he does this very effectively through describing scenes. It could be just a natural scene, it could be a scene in the city, it could be a lot of other situations, and the description of the scene is what conveys the emotion rather than a direct statement of what is felt. So for example, if it's loneliness that he wishes to convey, then he talks about vast open plains where there is nobody there. And when he wants to convey a sense of conflict, then it is usually through a city, where the population is up in arms about something. So this is something that I've tried to do in this poem as well. And a little about the background of the poem, because otherwise it might be a little difficult to follow, is this is a poem that is set in the Spiti Valley. So the Spiti Valley is in the extreme north of Himachal Pradesh. It's sort of like a mini Ladakh. It's a cold desert, and for 6 months of the year, it's cut off from the rest of the country. I visited the Spiti Valley when I was 10. That was a pretty long time ago. And at 10, I really did not have either the knowledge or the maturity to really appreciate, the scenery and stuff. But I have carried that memory with me. And as I grew older and as I went on more expeditions, I begin to appreciate that locality and that area. Unfortunately, I've never been able to visit it again. So I've always had this longing that, I want to go to Spiti, but I haven't been able to. So this poem is set there, and hopefully, I can get things across with it. So it's called In the Vale of Spiti. In the Vale of Spiti, where the winter winds howl, I sold my soul for a piece of ancient stone. 1,000 dreams buried themselves in raging torrents, placid green and murky brown, all for a single stone. 1,000,000 flakes of longing left to melt away, fresh snow on dusty earth, all for a lone black stone. I watched my words fade away into the icy night, vanishing among the stars for a lone silent stone. In this cacophony of dreams and longing, a single silent stone I am, in search of a soul that now wanders free in the vale of Spiti, where the winter winds howl. So this is the poem, and just as a sort of a clarification, I forgot to mention this before I started. So Spiti Valley is also pretty famous as being the site of fossils. It's one of the places where we can find prehistoric fossils from the time the Indian subcontinent collided with the rest of Asia and stuff. So now, of course, it's illegal to pick up any of them. But back then, when I was there, it was still legal. So you could just, go onto the mountainside and you would be able to find fossils. So I think that's the only thing besides a couple of pictures that I have from that trip. I've got a black stone fossil bit. So that's the black stone being referred to here.
The poem feels cold, if that makes any sense. And I don't even have synesthesia.
Yeah, I mean, it's both cold and at the same time, it's not a typically still place that I would imagine. So if, I'm to think of a frozen place, everything is still. But here it's a very happening place. There's a lot of churning, the rivers, and that description was meant for that. And the wind also is not something that's standing still. So for me, at least, that has, again, comes back to this difficulty in expression. So I can appear to be perfectly still and calm, but inside, all hell could be breaking loose. So this poem was written at a time when, there was a lot of uncertainty. This was in the middle of COVID when I was getting posted. I was about to be posted into the COVID wards. And of course, career related stuff and a lot of things were going haywire. But this is a poem that still sort of resonates with me because of its, you can't really discuss the meaning of the poem. It's something that just sticks to me. I can't describe the poem, I can't describe what it evokes, but it evokes something. And so I hope that the poem serves the same purpose for others as well.
I think it's the art in general is one of those things that whatever it's invoking to the creator, it needn't be, like you said when we were talking about Pranav's interpretation of art, that it needn't be what the reader or the witnesser feels, and it sort of does bring in that discomfort. Like you can tell that maybe the author, like a poet in this case, wasn't at the best place. You can still feel that, but what it means to someone is so individualized in a way, and I think that's what makes it so effective in helping one emote, if that makes any sense. And so it's so tailored to the person's experience, individual who's witnessing it.
Yep. I would say that, tethering what you feel to something that you can see or, you can, as in physically feel or smell, that I think is a very effective way of conveying something that you cannot do with just, a description saying that I feel lonely or I feel angry, or it doesn't really convey the full nature of that. Loneliness can have multiple shades of it, but by tethering that to a scene, I can convey that a lot better. So if it is a scene of absolute desolation that I'm describing, then I can say, yeah, this is the sort of loneliness that I don't really enjoy. But if I'm describing a scene which is just as beautiful as it is lonely, then that also conveys that there's a certain amount of comfort in that loneliness. So for me, this is something that helps a lot when it comes to expression, because otherwise I generally struggle to get emotions across.
Just to add, so you said the word scene, and when you were like talking about your poem, and for anybody who has seen Game of Thrones, I imagine the place beyond the wall where it's icy and cold, and I imagine somebody walking and there's snow and it's a treacherous path. So I felt like when you were telling us about your poem, it seemed a lot like that scene was in my head. And maybe that's the way maybe I perceive art, through an image or through film or something like that. But I just wanted to say that that's the kind of vision or thought I had when you were telling us your poem. And I don't know if that's what you were going for, but that's what I thought. So yeah, just my perspective, I guess.
Thank you for that. One thing I think Prerna forgot to say while introducing me was, I don't live anything beyond, maybe the 18th century. So talking to me about shows or something on social media is a sure way of ensuring that, I don't understand what you're saying. So I really don't know about, whether this description matched the particular scene you described. But yeah, it is a very desolate place. It is quite a remote place. When you say there is nothing there, it's not too far from the truth.
No. But now that you said it, that there's nothing there, but it has fossils, right? When you think of fossils tend to happen only in places there was rich flora and fauna. You need very, very specific sort of environments for fossilization to happen. It does not happen everywhere. You need that particular anaerobic sort of environment where there is no decomposition, and there will be that preservation of the flora there, or the fauna, whatever. To say that valley was once very rich and it was full of life, now it's a cold desert. It sort of does talk to when someone, I'm just speculating again, my wild theories, that though someone might appear to be cold and hostile to you, you just don't know, you just don't know their past or their journey up until that point. You don't know them, is what I'm trying to say. as you
I mean, I would agree, except that the fossilization actually took place before the mountains were even formed. So this is just already formed fossil just coming up to the surface. So if nobody's got anything to say, I'd like to present the next poem.
Go on, Anand.
I think I can. So this one is based on the Rubais of Omar Khayyam. For those of you who are not familiar, Omar Khayyam was a Persian writer. He wrote a very he popularized a form of poetry known as Rubai, which is just 4 lines, and it's meant to be something that's easy to remember, easy to just rattle off, and it is meant as a quasi-political statement. So it was meant to challenge the orthodox beliefs or the practices that were in vogue. So it's sort of got this double meaning play. If somebody was to pinpoint and say, well, you're blaspheming with these words, you could always say, that's not what I meant, and sort of edge out of it. But Khayyam wrote a lot about, the basic philosophy of life. And as far as he was concerned, we might even call him a nihilist today if he was around. His point was that, after death, there is nothing. And what we have now is what we have. So there was this poem that I read of his, which I'm going to read off, which goes something like this. Don't seek to recall yesterday that is past, nor repine for tomorrow, which is not yet come. Don't build your hopes on the past or the future. Be happy now and don't live on the wind. So this, I'm sure almost all of us would have heard at some point or the other, that, live in the moment and, enjoy what is there now. Don't think too much about the past and don't think about the future. So I didn't quite agree with that. For me, the problem is, what does living in the present mean? As far as I'm concerned, I'm happy in the present planning for tomorrow, or, I'm happy thinking about something that's happened. So what does this live in the present mean? And this got me thinking, one of the other things that Khayyam tends to do is
I think we've lost Anand. You're on mute, Prerna. Prerna, honey, you're on mute.
Anand, you're muted.
yeah, no, my connection dropped for a minute, so I was logged out. Anyway, so he asks a lot of these questions to which you can't really give an answer, but this is something that we all think of. We all have come across these questions at some point or the other. And for me, the whole concept of living in the moment is one such thing. Now, what is living in the moment? Can somebody really give that question a straight answer? So this was something that I wrote in the same style. So where do you come from? Who knows? Where will you go? Who knows? Are the stories you tell yourself true? Who knows? So yeah, this is sort of meant to be that, when we say, don't look at the future or don't think of the past, how do you know that, maybe that is the thing that makes me happy? Or that is the thing, or I'm unable to do anything except that. Sometimes that also happens. And therefore the question, are the stories that you tell yourself true? Are the poems that you read or the advice that you get, are those true? Who knows? So that's about it. I really haven't come prepared with anything else. So
That was my fault. Sorry.
That's okay.
But the living in the present is also something you brought up, which is very important to talk about, because anyone who's ever had to sort of seek some sort of advice for their mental illness, anyone who's ever, especially if someone has dealt with anxiety, grounding yourself in the present is something that you get told a lot. Just don't think about the past, don't think about the future, live now. It is very interesting that Anand brought up that maybe that's not what makes everyone happy. Maybe some people like planning. As weird as that sounds, I wouldn't relate to those people. I can't plan, but yes, that is something.
I mean,
to think about.
it's not as much about maybe that's what makes people happy. Planning, of course, sometimes can. For me, the experience has always been that unless I'm doing something directed towards a goal, I can't, really be satisfied with myself. And doing something directed to the goal essentially means that you are thinking about the future. The goal is not something that you've already reached. It is something that you're yet to reach. So when you say, don't think about the future or don't plan for the future, how do you do that? Because if I have to be satisfied with the present, then the essential part is I ought to be working towards something in the future. And there goes your logic of don't think about it.
Atisha?
If I don't plan, I'll have anxiety about the next day.
I can't relate. I can't relate. No, but as one more thing that we can, I want to say this as someone who works for, mental health advocacy. A lot of people reach out to me and they ask me, my friend is dealing with something. How do I be there for them? And it particularly comes down to giving this advice. When you ask someone to stay in the present, sometimes you cannot quantify the pain of the present. Sometimes thinking about the future or the past becomes some sort of escapism. And when they cannot avail help right now, you giving out advice as such might be harmful. You don't know what kind of environment they might be in. So that is just to say that if you're asked to give advice to someone who's dealing with such illnesses, the best thing you can do is not go by any sort of tailored format, because there just isn't. Everybody's circumstances are different. So having said that,
I mean, this brings to mind a particular incident. So this was, again, I think in October, I had tested positive, and so I was in home quarantine. And naturally, I wasn't in the best of places. And when I told somebody this, don't worry about the future and all that, just think about the present. And I was like, yeah, the present involves me being locked up in a room for 14 days with no COVID sign of human life around me. So no, it's not a pleasant prospect either. So yeah, I think that that's a very valid thing that Prerna brought about, that before you say, live in the present, take a moment. I mean, the present might not be all that great either.
Especially in times like this, the pandemic and everything. I'd rather not think about the present. But thank you so much, Anand, for being here.
Thank you for giving me this chance.
And I do want to sort of shout out Anand here, because he has been a huge part in helping me get better at what I do for Patronus. He's been sort of instrumental in my professional sort of journey with like mental health advocacy or as a medical student. So yes, and next we have Anand's successor, so to speak, in the literature club. We have Prerna Vishay. She is my junior and my namesake. She is a second-year medical student at Bangalore Medical College and Research Institute. She is the current editor for Liber, the monthly publication of the unofficial literature club of BMCRI, which was, I will remind you, founded by Anand, and so she is his successor. Prerna today will read to us two poems that she has found that really means something to her. Go on, Prerna, it's your turn.
I just want to preface this by saying that I came prepared with one poem, and after seeing all these people perform more than one, I got two of my own poems that I had written a long time ago, and another poem. So I was prepared with four, and now I can't decide which two to say. But okay, I'll start with one that I found on Pinterest that I think is so it's an anonymous entry. Um, so it's untitled, but it goes. I think it's very relatable, at least like to me. So it goes. I lend my ear, but nobody my. I lend everyone my ear, but nobody my heart. And I sure would like to change that, but I don't know where to start. I smile more to myself than the world will ever see, because the only time my smile is real is in my own company. People don't know how I feel, and they never ask. It seems that I have fooled them all. They can't see past my mask. If they were with me late at night when the world was still asleep, maybe then I'd let them sort through the secrets that I keep. But when I wake up at 2 a.m. and nobody is ever there, and I learned that why I hide my heart is because no one really cares. So yeah, that's one of them, and I think it's very kind of similar to the issues that we spoke about previously about feeling lonely and about having nobody to like actually talk to, and like people will say, yeah, okay, I'm there for you, but like, are you really? Yeah, so does anybody want to say anything about this one?
I think I can. The part where you say I lend everyone my ear, but not everyone my heart. You can come off as a super friendly person, know everyone in town, but doesn't really mean that they truly know you.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can be everybody's acquaintance, but not their friend, and not close to them. You know what I mean? So I think it's a good point.
Yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Deeksha. She helped me with choosing the poems. Yeah, and she's here right now. She came just for this. So yeah, anybody else? Or should I like go on to the next one?
Can I just say this poem is also by Erin Hansen, the same poet I quoted.
Oh.
She's the OG Pinterest poet.
Okay, that's good to know. It just says EH, and I was like, who's EH?
EH is Erin Hansen. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Prerna, your next poem. Go on.
Okay, this is a really old poem. When I was very small, so it's not like the best literary piece. Okay, so it's called Mask. You don't see what I see. You see the pretty girl with long hair and a predisposition to be nice to everyone. I see a broken face with dark thoughts and a history of sadness. You see a jock with a million girls and a tendency to break hearts. I see a boy with a dysfunctional family and a fake facade. You see the hot popular cheerleader with perfect skin and a superiority complex. I see a flawed girl with an imperfect childhood and 1,000 insecurities. You see the sweet teacher who calls every student her child. I see the woman who's had 2 miscarriages and craves nothing more than one. You see the boy who aces every test and is annoyingly good at everything. I see the child who tries and fails to do his parents proud every time. You don't see what I see. You see what they show you. I see what they try so hard to hide. You don't see what I see because you see the mask and I see what lies inside.
Thank you, Prerna. That was very well put. It goes back to what we were talking about with Anand's poem on the valley. That you just don't know the forces that they hide, right? It's just the wind and water that you see and the ice. Yes. I am so sorry, guys, that I am keeping the conversation very curt and very tight right now. It's because we've overshot time by a lot. I'm supposed to have been moderating it, but I sort of didn't. So yes, I am so sorry, but of course, we want to have more of these. We want to have more conversations that are not just panels. We want to have more free-flowing conversation in the future. Maybe not in in terms of maybe open mics or confessionals or something of that sort. We want to have more of these events in the future. So Prerna, thank you so much for today. We hope to see you again in a more leisurely setting where you can discuss your thoughts a lot more. A lot more articulate. I apologize so much to everyone right now.
One thing that I want to say that I wanted to like recite one of the poems, but I chose not to because it's already a spoken word poem that's on YouTube. It's by a poet called Blythe Baird, and it's about eating disorders. I'll put the link on the chat. So if anyone wants to check that out, they can. It's a really good poem.
Okay, do please link all of your social medias here if anyone wants to go through. Today's last speaker is Samhita Satish Chandra. Samhita, are you here?
Yep.
Yes. Hi, Samhita. Samhita is a first-year medical student at BMCRI. Today, she's going to be sharing with us her poems, and the stage is yours, Samhita.
Okay, hello. First of all, my nerves are through the roof. I don't really perform or read out poetry at all, so apologies for the robotic reading. Secondly, my poetry is the definition of emo teen poetry, so apologies in advance. So today I picked a poem called Voices. It's one that I wrote about a year ago, and it's about self-hatred and perfectionism. And basically, one of the things I think is the most frightening about self-hatred is that it always starts out normal and then it becomes something very familiar. So it's not like a cold where you can easily differentiate between some foreign entity that's causing changes and who you are normally. So eventually, like just a few negative thoughts here and there can morph into this pit of self-hatred. And it almost reaches a point where it's a safe place because you don't know who you were without the self-deprecation. So that is roughly what this poem is about. It is very angsty, so all warnings ahead. Voices. She whispers in my head, a vivid voice full of hatred. A silky skein, my guillotine, ensnares me in horrors unseen. She chokes me up with unshed tears, brims my mind with my darkest fears. Worthless, burden, failure, flawed, falling behind, weak, loser, fraud. A waste of time, a waste of space, a waste of effort, such a disgrace. You let them down, shattered their hopes. You lost your dreams, burnt your ropes. Give up now whilst you still can. Victory is not for every man. Don't delude yourself or try to fight. Your story will end in plight. Shun those who try to hold you up. They'll forget you soon, you mix up. Listen to me, I know best. Come here, you're safe in my nest. She whispers winsomely in my head, a vivid voice dripping in hatred. Thank you.
That was really you know that phrase, it hits close to home. Yeah, that was what it was. I think all of us have had that one annoying voice in the back of our head that's like, give up, this is gonna flop real bad. That was a very good poem, Samhita, and you're good. Please do come perform in future events. I am so sorry that we don't have a lot of time for good conversation right now, but we do hope that in subsequent events we're gonna have a lot more time for good conversation. We do hope to have more. We do hope to have more open mic sort of events. We do hope to have more interactive events, Instagram lives or something like that in the future. I do want to repeat here at this point saying, guys, this is again a fundraiser. If you're watching this on YouTube, in the link below, in the description, you're going to find the link to the fundraiser. If you've found us on YouTube like ages later, well, sorry, but the fundraiser is over. If you're coming from our Instagram, the link is in the bio. And if you're right now in the chat right now, live with us, then please, it's in the chat box. Please do go donate. This is for an important cause. LGBTQ plus people are again the most hit by the pandemic and by mental health issues, and they do not have the resources to get help like some of us do. So it's really good that whoever is like privileged enough to be able to donate does go ahead and donate. Other than that, I would like to say, guys, what we're doing with Patronus is something very dear to all of us. With Anvita, Sneha, and Ume, the girls that are here, Chitra, all of us have had our own experiences, and that's what drives us at the end of the day. So I can tell you that the girls that I work with and Anvita, the founder, are all very passionate about the cause. And the only way we can get our word across to make our work reach those who need it is by increasing our social media presence right now, because that's our primary platform as of today. Even though we want to branch out, we are also going to start sending in newsletters. So please do leave your emails. Ume, how can they do that?
There's a feedback form. I'll just put up the link. Everyone, please fill it out.
Yes, so if you want newsletters to any such events that's going to happen, we're going to send out emails giving updates about our program and everything we want to do. Anvita is also running a lot of campaigns about maternal mental health and how to improve that. We want to genuinely help people, and that's what is driving most of us here. So only way we can do this, I will reiterate, is if we can increase our social media presence now, because that's our primary platform. So please do go share our page to your friends, to people who might need it. We have resources up there. We have lists of therapists, and our email, you can also email us as an SOS number, as an SOS if you'd like, and we can link you to resources. So one of us is always watching out for emails like that. So please do check out our Instagram. That is our primary platform. So yes, share the word, guys, and share the word about the fundraiser as well. Thank you so much for coming here today. I thank all of the people who performed here, and I would also like to apologize to the last few people who went on and could not get a lot of their thoughts heard because of our time crunch. The time mismanagement was my fault. I would like to apologize. I would also wanted to thank the girls from Patronus for the wonderful work that they're doing, genuinely. And it helps people like me at the end of the day, even if I wasn't working for Patronus. So again, please share this around. On Sunday, we have another event. We have a music event. It's going to be streamed live on YouTube. So do go there and check out our YouTube channel and be subscribed, because we're going to start at 7 p.m. on Sunday. It's going to be a concert. We're going to have like 4 performers come and perform their music. This is just going to be a time for all of us to enjoy, sit back and relax. This is a form of us saying thank you for all the support for the past year, for bringing us here today to be able to do all of this, all of the things that we are passionate about. So thank you so much, guys. And good night. So that's it for today. We hope to see you in further talks and everything like that. Thank you so much for coming. Does anyone want to say something?
I just wanted to very quickly say thank you so much to all the performers and everyone who has stayed back. We went profusely over time, but thank you all for staying. It means the world to me, not just for the girls on my team, but every one of you. The way I look at it, it's like each of you giving a piece of yourself to Patronus. in whichever way it is. And I can't tell you how much it means to me knowing how it started and where we're at today. So again, thank you so much. Also, I wanted to say that I have so much respect for anyone who can perform their poetry live. I'm one of those people who can write but not perform. So for everyone who's performed, and so many of you were very self-deprecating for no reason. I mean, every one of you that opened saying that I'm not a spoken word poet and then read out your poems and blew us all away. Please stop saying that about yourself. But yeah, mad respect to all of you, for all of you. And as Prerna said, we're very, very sorry that we had to cut this short. We went overtime. We didn't realize in the beginning that it was we would have to do this, but we will make up for this. We will have another event, and we hope that all of you will be there, and the next time we won't cut you short. And we hope that the discussion will be a lot more engaging and a lot more we'll see a lot more participation. But until then, thank you. And Prerna's already mentioned all the events. We have another event on Sunday. We hope that all of you will be tuning in for that as well. Thank you.